So late last week, over the weekend, I don't know if you caught any of the news, but the two gentlemen that were arrested at Starbucks in Pittsburgh,
Yes.
they were interviewed, and they were able to give their accounts of what happened that day. And you and I got into this a little bit last week about, was this... I mean, I know everybody says it's racist. I know there's protests. But how do we really know that it was racist? What if it was just two guys that, came into Starbucks, were loitering. They asked them to leave because they wouldn't buy anything. And the cops get there. They won't leave, so then they ended up arresting them. It sounds like that's what happened. I don't know if it was racist or not because I didn't hear the conversation.
I think the problem with this over the weekend and towards the tail end of last week is there were a lot of videos of white guys going into Starbucks and asking them if they can use the bathroom. And then they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And then they let them go in.
See, I saw a bunch of viral videos that people were doing on Twitter and Facebook Live, black guys going to get free coffee at Starbucks because they're black. And so they were telling all the Starbucks workers, they're like, yo, let's get that free, gosh, I need to find this. Let's get that free coffee. I got to give it to them. They walk in there. They're like, yeah, you guys racist at Starbucks? How about I get a free coffee? And he's like, yeah, can I get some caramel and some cream in there too? And the gal, young gal, she gives it to him. And he walks outside and gives it to a kid. Like, he didn't even want the coffee. He just wanted to see if he could get the free coffee.
They were getting free coffee because they were black?
Because they were black, and they had the phone up to the Starbucks worker's face going, I heard you guys are giving out free coffee to black people.
You gotta go inside, get my free coffee. Y'all ready? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right, I heard y'all was racist, so I came to get my free coffee.
I saw that.
Yeah, I heard you guys don't like black people, so I wanted to get my Starbucks reparations voucher.
It can't be fun to be a Starbucks employee right now in places where there is racial tension, because you've got to think that there's no right way that you can handle the situation. Like the white guys going up and asking if they can use the bathroom, and they're like, yeah,
I didn't even hear about that.
Sure, go ahead. And then now they're like, well, geez, all these white people can use the bathroom at Starbucks, but then the guys in Philadelphia can't use the bathroom at Starbucks. What's the deal with that? Then you got the other guys going in and asking for the free coffee because they're black, and it's just, I mean, this is just.
Did you see the audio of the two guys talking to the folks at Good Morning America?
I did not hear the audio, no.
Oh, I'm going to play it for you now. This is them just being asked about why they didn't leave when they were asked to leave.
What do you say to some people who say rules are rules, that Starbucks has a policy, you've violated that policy, the police asked you repeatedly to leave, and you didn't?
What I say is I understand that. Rules are rules, but what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And that's in any situation, whether there's race involved, anything.
So he's saying just because it's a rule doesn't mean it's right?
That's what I'm gathering from it, and I tend to agree with him. I mean, we got Jeff Stolberg in here last week, and he was like, well, the problem with Starbucks is it's a retail store. So they sell things in there. So they can't really say whether or not you're loitering. Now, I could take a look at Starbucks and look at the crowd and see that the 5 people that are on laptops and they've been there for 5 hours are not perusing the merchandise. And
I know you brought that up. Yeah. I know people hang out there.
Yeah,
and you brought up the fact that Starbucks sells it as a community place to meet people and so on, and that's what they said they were doing.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: do you think if those guys were not black, if they were any other race, Caucasian, whatever, do you think this would, and the same thing happened? Do you think we'd be talking about this right now?
It's But you mean if they were white and everything went down the way it did, like they were told they couldn't use the bathroom and they were told that they had to leave because they weren't buying anything?
Yeah, right. The same exact thing happened.
No,
but
I don't think we would be talking about it right now.
I
absolutely don't think we
would.
Would
it be racist?
Right, would it be racist?
Yeah.
I don't think so. No, I don't.
What if the person behind the counter was a different race than the people that were there?
But the reality of the situation is those two guys weren't white; they were black.
No, I know they were black,
and there were many other people this weekend shooting videos of their own, and towards the tail end of last week, of white people walking into Starbucks and using the bathroom freely.
Well, the bathroom is there for customers.
I know, but this is the problem Starbucks has, is they have to enact a policy. And they're going to have to stick with that policy no matter what the color of somebody's skin.
So this is only racist because they were two black guys.
Well, and they got the cops called on them. I mean, was that necessary?
Do we know what the color the worker was that called Starbucks?
No, I don't care.
The woman?
I don't care what color the woman is.
So if she was black, it didn't matter?
Because there's something called institutional racism that you're not giving much creed or credibility to in this instance, and sometimes
define that for me. What does that mean?
Institutional racism is basically policies set forth by institutions, whether they be corporations or government entities, that exclude people based on their race.
So you're thinking that Starbucks said if black people come in here and don't buy anything, call the cops?
It's sometimes
I doubt that.
There's no policy set in place, but there's an understanding set in place, and it doesn't always have to be as black and white. Sorry for the pun. As policy put into place. Now they're going to have to enact a policy. They're going to have to stick with that policy, and that policy is either you're going to have to let the doors open for everybody to use the bathroom, or we're going to have to do away with, like 7-Eleven did it the best. They did away with bathrooms. They said, screw it, I'm done.
Everybody's on the other side of this. The CEO has come out and apologized. The now commissioner of the Philadelphia Police Department spoke as well.
I'm here to discuss the unfortunate incident that I fully acknowledge that I played a significant role in making worse. I should have said the officers acted within the scope of the law and not that they didn't do anything wrong. Words are very important. While this is apparently a well-known fact with Starbucks customers, not everyone is aware that people spend long hours in Starbucks and aren't necessarily expected to make a purchase.
And I guess my whole point is I definitely know this is an employee issue, and this employee has been fired because I think they were being rude, and I think they were being rude on purpose. Were they racist? I don't know. Most likely, chances are they probably were. But we still don't know that. So is this an argument about, is this a racist thing that happened? Or is this a thing where, we had a bad employee and they didn't conduct business correctly and treat their customers?
You understand that people could be racist without knowing that they're being racist, right? Yeah, she could be racist because she told these guys to leave and she didn't want them to use the bathroom because they weren't. But did she do that to everybody that came in and asked to use the bathroom?
Maybe she did.
That's my question.
Maybe she was the bathroom police.
And if she did that, I don't think she would have been fired. I think she would have been kept aboard.
I think she's fired no matter what.
She would have been taught
as soon as they made it a race issue, she's gone.
You need to allow people to use the bathroom, or you need to not tell people to leave, regardless of whatever their color is. It's a bad policy. It's a bad customer service policy. So maybe she would be fired from that standpoint. Yes, I see what you're saying there, but it's
just a public image.
Like I said last week, there was many opportunities for her not to go as far as she did, and for the police not to go as far as they did in Philadelphia. And I don't believe this horse-ass excuse that nobody in the police force knew and a widespread understanding that Starbucks was like a lounge for people to go hang out in.
But you heard this, you read the story. The police officers asked them to leave multiple times, and they wouldn't leave.
Because they were sitting on principle. You heard what they said to Robin Roberts. They said it was principle.
I know, but it was their principle. But the law says if somebody asks you to leave and it's a private business and you don't leave, you can be arrested for trespassing.
That's
why every time you go to a business,
in our history of this country, we have had laws that have been wrong. Like you can't use the drinking fountain because of the color of your skin. That was the law at this time. If somebody didn't stand up to the law at that time,
no shirt, no shoes, no service. We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. It says it just about on every business that you walk into.
You can't reserve that right based on the color of their skin. You cannot do that. Okay? And that is where the problem of this thing is.
You're instantly going there where I'm saying, how do we even know that that's what it was about? Maybe it was just about store policy, and they happen to be black people. Am I naive in this? Am I being an idiot?
I think you are being an idiot in this. Yes, I absolutely do. And
so I just have to automatically assume that everyone is racist, that is white, that asks somebody that is a different color than they are, to leave or to buy something or to follow the company policy.
We're standing by what they believe in, and I think they should be applauded for standing by what they believe in. They believe that they should not have been asked to leave listen, if I was asked to leave a Starbucks, and I'm a white guy, and if I was not buying anything and I was meeting somebody there, like they told the person that they were meeting somebody there, I would look around and I would survey the room and I'd say, dude, all these people are sitting in here. Why don't I have a right to sit in here? And yes, I might not leave on principle based on whatever the quote unquote policy of the restaurant or retail store or whatever you want to call it, or the police officers to that point, because maybe I'd be like, hey, something needs to be done about this.
I guess I think it's sad because that means that everyone else is going to assume, because you and I are white and everyone else is white, that we're racist if we try to follow a policy at some point, or if we ask somebody to do something that's a different color that is not our same race, they're just going to automatically assume we're racist because we've asked them to do something
why can't we
to go along
why
with.
can't we just treat people as people and not even have a skin color come into it? Because you're talking about somebody asking to use a bathroom.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Jeff. You, the media, everyone else has made this a race issue. What if it's just a store policy issue? It just sucks to live in a world where you look at every white person and go, yeah, they're probably racist because they're white. And I'm not a racist person, and that offends me.
She's not going to let me use the
and
bathroom.
It's not easy.
I got to ask myself, why is she not letting me use the bathroom?
Do you go to Starbucks and use the bathrooms? Do you realize that every Starbucks has a lock on it?
Yeah, and
you can't just go into a bathroom.
And I've gone to Starbucks before, and I've broken this policy that you speak of, and I'm doing air quotes and rules and all that stuff, where I'll have like kids and I'll be driving through a town. I'm like, Starbucks has the best bathrooms. I'm going to go to the Starbucks even though I'm not going to buy anything. And I'll be like, hey, can I get the code for your bathroom? They're like, yeah, They give me the code and I punch it in and I go in and I change the kids, let them go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I go to the bathroom. Then I walk out. I walk out completely. I broke her policy I broke the rules. Okay,
because you just used the bathroom and you didn't buy anything.
I didn't buy anything.
You weren't a customer
at all. I didn't buy anything at all.
And your wife wasn't in there buying something?
No, she was not.
You just went in there to use the bathroom and left?
Yes.
Okay, well, and you got away with it then?
On many occasions, on a few different occasions.
But that doesn't mean...
I've never been denied.
But that is totally separate from this situation. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all. I just haven't heard enough information yet. We don't know what the conversation was.
Surprising. I think it's surprising, though, that anybody would be denied the right to use a bathroom. And like we talked to Jeff Stolberg last week, he said that the interesting dynamic about this whole Starbucks thing is it's a retail store. So if they offer up bathrooms for some people, then they should offer up bathrooms for anybody that's sitting in there.
Well, we know policy was wrong, or the woman, the way she handled it was wrong, and she should have been fired, regardless.
Yeah, because...
Regardless.
And I'm not talking about
the guy... But is it racist? I don't know.
I'm not talking about the guy that we just played, but I'm talking about it is something that is very petty. This is not only an issue of race. I think this is race secondary or third. The number one issue of this is the person that was working behind the counter thinks she has the most important job in the world.
It's a manager.
And that
a middle manager. I mean, come on. When have you not had a job with a middle manager? You know, they're not they're not the general manager or the CEO, but they're a middle manager. I mean, it happens all the time.
Use the bathroom.
And we're not saying all middle managers are bad. And I'm sure there's middle managers out right now that are hearing this going, oh, you jerk.
Did she consult?
Like, my job's already hard enough. But there's other ones out there that are just impossible almost to deal with.
Did she do the thing where she consulted the underlings and she said, did those two that are asking to use the restroom, did they buy anything? And make an example of them? I don't know. I get the type. I get the type of person that has this job, the type of person that is going to, I mean, listen, we all want something. It's human nature, right? We all want to be a part of something important. And at the end of the day, if the only thing that you have that is important that you can hang your hat on when you walk into the house is, well, at least I made some people go somewhere else to go to the bathroom today, then so be it. You know, that's your important lot in life. You upheld the policy of the store.
Let's take a few calls here. Brian's been holding on. Go ahead, man.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I think the guy that was demanding the reparations, I believe he's a comedian.
Okay.
And he was spoofing the situation. As far as the lady that called the police, she's I've seen a picture of her. She looks pretty much like the lady that would ask to talk to your manager. You can use your imagination on that one. And I think she got in trouble and fired because she had some offensive posts on Facebook about how she did not like to have to deal with Spanish talking customers.
Oh wow!
I think that compiled onto it, and I think that's
wow. I hadn't heard any of this. Where did you get all this information?
I dig.
Okay, Reddit. Don't say Reddit, bro.
No, not Reddit.
Okay,
no.
good.
Reddit's the best place to get
No,
news.
you
What are talking
idiot,
about?
it is not.
It's
Anybody can write anything on Reddit.
I know.
Yeah,
but then it's
I
a
don't
collective.
Reddit.
There's nothing.
It's a collective source of all the idiots in the world saying whatever they want, and then you could take whatever you want out of it.
Yeah, that's oh god.
It's like having a golf instructor.
That's scary.
You just take whatever works
Yeah,
best for you,
that's
and
great.
you apply it to your everyday needs.
But that's the problem that I was trying to get to is I just don't know if we have enough information out there. I mean, obviously you did some digging, but I mean, still, I've been looking into this issue.
Okay,
I
I
looked into
wanna
it
know-
over the weekend, and there's still no information about this person
Since we're
or
talking
what
about
was said.
stereotypes, Brian, and you said that the lady seems like the type of person that would ask to speak to your manager, what are the physical characteristics of that person? Because I have somebody in mind. I just want to know if you have the same, if I'm right in what my stereotype would be.
Do you remember that show where the mom had the short haircut and like 8 kids?
Yes.
It's kind of like that with
Okay.
a little more weight.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, you talking about Kate plus 8?
When you say the person that sounds like they're going to ask to speak to your manager, I think overweight woman in her 30s, possibly
Yeah.
early to mid 30s. That's what I usually
Yeah.
think of the person, and it's sad that I think of that. But with the minute that you said that, that's where my mind went, and apparently I was right because I've not seen a picture of this woman. And
Yeah,
that's
she's probably pissed off. She's got a high school reunion to go to tell them that she's a Starbucks manager, you know.
what
You
you're
guys have a great day.
I deny people access to bathrooms. That's what I do for a living.
I can't imagine. Thanks for the call, Brian. I can't imagine that being a Starbucks manager is that bad, right? I mean, I got to think that's going to be a pretty decent job.
Yeah,
It's not like McDonald's. No offense to McDonald's or a fast food place.
I just want to know why it is.
Look at In-N-Out. Their managers make bank.
with these middle manager positions, but maybe that's where it lies. Maybe there's not like compensation packages aren't what they are at In-N-Out or another place. So you're not as likely to be a duck and let just things roll off your shoulders. But you're going to stand your ground because you're like, man, I'm not getting paid like an important person. I'm going to make decisions like an important person.
I know.
You're not going to the bathroom.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying this whole time.
You're not going to the bathroom because you didn't buy anything.
And, I would be crazy to say the real issue here is the empowerment that middle managers think they have to show. And
that is the real issue.
And the club they have to swing or whatever you want to say. But it's not racism. But I don't know if she's racist or not. Frank just posted a picture of her. He found her. So you can see what she looks like on her. And she looks just like what you guys were talking about.
The fact that she's got some Facebook posts talking about how not having to deal with Spanish-speaking customers.
That's not good.
Tends to make me think that she leans towards racism.
I'll give you that one for sure.
Good morning.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.